Hey, Chris Duke.
Hey, Kim Duke.
I was listening to one of our old episodes with Missy, the LADC that was here, and we talked about therapists having therapists. And I thought that was a great conversation because I've told that to patients before, that the importance of therapy and having, therapists, even talking to therapists. And we have a great sponsor we want to talk to you guys about, BetterHelp.com. 1 in 4 people are struggling with some type of mental illness. And BetterHelp.com has over 4,000 licensed counselors. And, you kind of went through the algorithm, and you can explain that to everybody.
Yeah, so as you're filling out the questionnaire on their website, that you can watch it automatically start to narrow down counselors that will best fit your needs, whatever you've got going on. They have licensed alcohol and drug counselors, like we said before, which is huge. Right now, there is not a lot of in-person stuff going on, whether it's AA meetings, NA meetings, all that stuff. It's really tough. So being able to have somebody that you can communicate with, not just for an hour on a phone call, you can message them, email, review notes. There's all kinds of great stuff that's offered through that website. It's really personal stuff and unique to you, which we talk about every single episode, how important mental health is to us. And so we are absolutely honored that they're sponsoring today's episode. Support the podcast by supporting yourself. BetterHelp.com/DDGD. That's the acronym for the show, Duck, Duck, Gray, Duke. So it's nice and easy to remember. And thank you to our sponsors, and enjoy the show. All right, you ready for the intro, Kim Duke?
I'm really tired, but yeah.
Hi, Kim Duke.
Hey, Chris Duke.
We had a pretty crazy weekend. We were both at weddings yesterday, and I was super scared.
I was too. I kept my distance.
I feel bad because now because I said it on a few episodes where I was like, there's a lot of like anti-masker and da-da-da-da-da, and it was going to be Sturgis rally basically. But everyone was actually really good.
I think
a lot of people wearing masks and socially distancing, and I was very impressed with how non-confrontational everybody was. And then on top of that, the photos. So I shot a wedding where our tattoo artist, our main tattoo artist, we're exchanging photos for tattoos, which is so tight.
No, that's a good deal. That's a great deal.
I know. Yeah. I'm going to finish my upper arm on the side.
You know what's funny? I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, I'm going to cover my back like big time.
He's going to finish my arm over here. Then I'll have 2 sleeves.
I'll let Keith finish your arm because I have more money with Josh, so I'm going to blast my back.
No, I don't. I want Josh to do my arm.
I want Josh to blast all over my back.
Whatever. Anyway. And
then you went to a wedding.
I went to my friend's wedding, which I was like almost didn't even go. Like even up to the time I had to leave the house.
Shout out to Riley Downs, by the way. We co-shot the wedding.
Yeah. And then I asked her, like, it's an outdoor wedding. Like how many people are going to be there? When she said 60, I was like,
whoa, that's a
lot of people. Granted, it's outdoors, but I've been hearing people get sick from going to outdoor weddings and stuff. I'm like, it's just not worth it to me to get sick.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, we'll just stand apart, like far apart during the ceremony, and then we'll just leave. It was me and our 2 kids. And when I got there was definitely not 60 people, a lot less. And people kind of stayed in their little pods. Yeah. And so I was like with my one friend and her friend who had been around my one friend, and she can't get sick because she will literally die if she gets sick. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang out with her because she can't get sick. So she hasn't been around anyone. She doesn't go anywhere. And then, our kids ran rampant. I'm like, can we just run around?
Can we reel this in a little bit?
Yeah, but I didn't get close to any other adults, which was nice. And they masked up, gowned up, gloved up to serve people, and only one person could serve a certain dish.
Yep.
And so it was nice. They made it, and they had appetizers that were pre-wrapped before.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of things where I'm like, okay, this isn't terrible.
You see a lot of that stuff now, like pre-wrapped. Like I went to graduation.
Oh, wait, before you talk.
Oh.
I have to introduce you.
Oh, you should have. You guys were already talking at me.
I know. It drives
We don't
Chris
normally
crazy.
do that.
I always talk to the person here. Chris
I'm
is like,
like,
who's here? Who's here?
Sorry. Okay, ready for this scathing intro?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so he's a Jewish kid from Colorado by way of the Ukraine. I know there's not a lot of Jewish people in Ukraine, but he broke the mold. And then he was like, on top of that, I'm going to start doing interpretive stand-up. He started out dancing his jokes. Nobody got it at first.
They still don't.
But a gal from San Francisco took a chance on him and said, they're going to... Oh, my God.
That's driving me crazy.
You just punched your headphones off. Completely ruined the flow of the bit. It's dead. Push your
She was
hands
just like, shut up. Go to punch you, but punched her own.
All right. Put your domestic violence mitts together for Dan Bublitz.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. Woo.
Okay, you went to a graduation party?
Yeah, and we're going
just
right
want to hear about the
We're
food
going
there.
right back into it. And they had Subway catered in,
yeah.
and Subway individually wrapped the sandwiches. Like they were
Wow.
little, you know.
Yeah. Like
the
they're
portions,
like even smaller.
Even
yeah.
smaller than they're like 4-inch, I think.
Yeah, they're
or
like I think
something.
they're like the kid size.
Yeah. And they had them all individually wrapped.
Wow.
So that was, really
Yeah.
cool. And I went to one outdoor wedding too, but that was like in July, and it was out in Montana.
Okay.
And I was pretty worried about that too, because it's like Montana's one of them states that's not necessarily, doing anything as far as that goes. It was really weird, like traveling through there, because some areas, some cities were very strict about it, and others were not.
Within the same state.
Within the same
That's
state.
crazy.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
within Montana. It was really weird.
Montana's weird like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's very still Wild West. It's a lot like Arizona in that regard. But those little pockets of culture, like, that's where it's... So, yeah, it can be completely different. Did you see I don't know if they still have it, but there used to be this billboard for the Bull Testicle Festival.
I don't think I saw it.
It was...
In fact, I know. I'm not saying it's not there. I just didn't see it because I know if I would have saw it, I'd have remembered it.
It stands out in your memory because an artist drew a bull like covering his junk, going,
Oh my God, that's funny.
So it's this massive billboard in the Bull Testicle Festival. It happens in July.
Gross.
That's how memorable it is.
I
don't like eating
I would have
weird
definitely
things.
remembered that.
But then where the fuck was I? Bozeman, Montana. And I met this radio DJ at a skate park, and he was like super hipster, super liberal, and was talking about how progressive this city is. And it's like, I just passed the Bull Testicle Festival sign like 10 miles back.
Yeah.
Would you have
wild
eaten a
state.
bull testicle?
Hell yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Ew. Would you eat anything weird like that?
I have.
What have you eaten?
I've had Rocky Mountain oysters.
Ew.
And they were terrible.
Were they chewy?
Yeah,
I just imagine they're very chewy.
Yeah, they were a little chewy, and I was not a fan. Because like I grew up in South Dakota. That's a big, thing there too. Like it's a Midwest thing. Anywhere where there's cattle, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried it like one time and never. I didn't like the way I didn't like the texture.
Texture.
It was,
Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Have you had cow tongue then too?
I feel like I might have tried that when I was in California, actually, because that's popular for tacos.
I was
Yeah,
just
they
going to
are.
say that.
Yeah, I know. After I said it, I was like, well, wait, they put it in tacos. And
Yeah,
anything
they
you
do.
put in a taco, you can make
Taco.
it taste good.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't know if I actually did. I know it was readily available when I was in California, but I don't think
I feel like it is at every taco place too.
Yeah, it's a popular thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So people who are listening and haven't heard of young Daniel, we met. Well, we had spoken because you were doing is it the Snow Jam Festival, or what's that comedy festival?
Yeah, Snow Jam is the comedy festival that I co-produce.
Yes. So Andy Matfield told me to hit you up about something, and then I think Andy told you to hit me up about the video thing, And then from there,
you guys are just hitting each other. Then?
Yeah. So
we're just hitting each other.
Andy Matfield is like a.
He was the connected. Because I was trying to find a videographer for another friend who was coming into the area.
Okay.
And Andy recommended Chris.
Okay.
For that.
Yeah, and so we got to do 2 shows. In what was that, Shakopee?
Yep. Dangerfields.
Dangerfields, yeah.
Yep.
Which I didn't see any pictures of Rodney Dangerfield.
I know. It's like total false advertising. It's like, talk about a bait and switch.
Yeah. But that was such a fun show, and I would say that you're the Brian Regan of comedy. No.
I mean, that's a great compliment, I guess. I mean, I'm not anywhere near as good as he is, but hey, that's a great compliment.
But yeah, so your stand-up is super fun to watch. I've told you that before, and yeah, it's one of those things where like, how did I describe it before? Like it's like somebody who tells stories at a barbecue. Everyone listens.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to describe it.
Yeah. It's very good and very digestible. So let's dive into
much like barbecue.
Much like barbecue. Yeah. So how did you get started in comedy?
In comedy, huh? Oh man. It's like, wouldn't that be like the kicker if I forgot? Like right at that moment. Like I've been asked that question so many times. I'm just like, I don't remember. I do comedy? What? No. No, the short answer is I got divorced. That's the short answer of how I got into comedy. But what had happened is I was married for a really long time, and we did get divorced, and then I felt like I had wasted a lot of my life because I was married for 12 years. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to waste any more of my life. I got to go start doing things that I want to do. And stand-up was one of those things that I'd always wanted to do, and I never did. So I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to look into it. I found an open mic. At the time, this open mic was like once a month, and it was kind of it was like a contest thing, basically a bringer contest situation.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't know what those were at the time because I'm totally oblivious to anything, outside of what you would see on TV for stand-up.
Yeah.
And because at that point I'd only been to a few live shows because it wasn't, readily available in my area where I lived. But anyway, I signed up for the open mic, and I signed up for a couple months in advance, so like I had time to write, and I just started writing and rehearsing, and then I finally went up.
So how old were you when you did that then?
I was 31. I was about to be 32.
Wow.
So I started way late.
Yeah. That's funny. I was 30, right? Or 29.
29 or 30 when you, yeah.
Yeah. Or no, yeah, I was 30 for sure.
Okay.
Because I've been doing it for 3 years.
Okay, yeah, you were 30.
Yeah.
That's youngins. Oh.
Well, because
nice.
You're what, 36?
I wish. Oh my God, that'd be so great if I was 36 still. We'll just say I'm 36. I'm 36.
Good.
Actually,
I really thought you were our age.
Yeah, I know. I dress like I'm 12. So.
Well, but you communicate the same way though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
I think we're used to having people in their early 20s, like mid 20s on, because that's what, like all the comedians right now, and it's like then I feel real old because it's like they don't understand. Like,
oh
you're
yeah.
Anytime I make a 90s reference, just
right over them. You're just like, oh, yeah. That's how I feel sometimes when I do a comedy show and I'll make a reference and there's a lot of young people in the audience. I'm just like, oh, like I have a joke about being a hipster, and one of the tags on it is about encyclopedias, and sometimes it does really good, and then other times it doesn't. And anytime it doesn't, I'm just like, oh, that's right. You guys don't know what books are.
Your book
everything
is in your
is
hand.
digital.
Yeah.
I have a joke where I talk about Akon, and there are kids that don't know who Akon is, and I was like, oh, really? He's that old? Oh my God. It's I mean,
crazy. And he wasn't out for like such a long period of time. He was like, you know.
He was. Dude, he was all over the place for
But if we're talking
quite
about
a while.
like
because he did a lot of collaborations.
Yeah, he collabed with.
Exactly.
I saw him when he was with Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he because the late 90s, he started doing stuff with convict music and. But
okay,
then,
but if you're trying
2000s.
to hit like mainstream people, they're gonna.
But then he got his solo fame happened in the 2000s, so that's why mentally I'm like, oh, they'll get this. I forget that it's 2020.
Right.
Shit.
How old? If you were to guess, how old do you think I am?
Really, I thought you were like 32. I thought you were younger than us.
That's awesome.
I knew you were a little bit older than me, and that's
Yeah.
because I honestly thought that you were 36.
No, that's great. I'm good with that. I'm actually 42 today.
Happy birthday!
Happy fucking birthday,
Thanks.
dude.
Yes. This is
Do you celebrate birthdays anymore? I'm done. I think 33. I'm done now.
not really. I mean, big ones, I guess. Like my 40th, we did, something. But like today,
You're here.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, you know what sounds good on my birthday? This is how you know I'm old, right? This is how you know I'm 42. I'm like, it's my birthday. I'm gonna go podcast. Yes.
What would other 42-year-olds do today? Podcast and watch football.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a good, very good point.
Yeah. So
And listen to podcasts about football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a couple shows last night though, so I had a few drinks after the shows, but nothing crazy.
No.
Obviously, because I made it here almost.
Where
on time.
where did you? Where were you
I'm
at?
always 10 minutes late for everything. I made it to the ceremony yesterday as she was starting to get ready to walk down the aisle.
jeez, that was That's
That-
You did
close.
that? Those people are the worst.
They didn't notice. I snuck up. Well, my one friend's like, "Did you see the ceremony?" I'm like, "I was standing right behind you," and I was.
That's funny. Well, I had to. My GPS was goofy with the road construction. Like it was like, okay, you need to exit here, and so I exit, and it's like continue straight, and then get back on the 94. I was like, you just had me exit to sit at a red light. What is this?
No.
And then
You had to take the death road.
Yeah, that road. I thought my car was breaking down.
It's awful. Guess who still takes it every day to work when I'm like, you're ruining our vehicles. You cannot take that road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
was.
I
You
drive
don't
real
save
slow.
that much time. If you have to drive that slow, the other road is right over there.
That's really why I was
Thank
running
you.
late because
You're
I had
in
to
your
drive.
40s. You understand
I had
cars.
to drive super slow, and even going super
You're
slow, I hit a spot where my car was just, and I was like, "Oh my god, is it breaking down?" Like I thought my car was breaking
awful.
down, and I was like, "No, this better not be." I see the flat asphalt. It's almost there.
We're almost there. You almost
and
get out, put your car in neutral. I'm just going to push you, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going that way.
We're gonna go real gentle. We're getting out of this. Hit the pavement, and then it was fine. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Our next house will be so much better. It's all concrete on the way there.
Concrete?
Asphalt? I don't know the difference.
You don't? Oh.
Either way, it's
just hard.
It'll pave the way,
Yeah.
There you go.
and you won't destroy your car
Yeah.
unless there's a ton of potholes.
So back to your starting comedy. So you're starting a little later, and it is weird because
Did you start then in South Dakota or in Minnesota?
In South Dakota.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, you at what point did you think, oh, I can stretch, I can do more than just this 5?
Well, so honestly, I mean, I guess I hadn't really thought about that. Like for me, like as soon as I got a good laugh, and it was like the first night I did comedy.
Pull that mic a smidge
Oh,
closer.
sorry. I keep moving. I'm very.
I know.
Can you tell him a stand up? I should be holding the mic because then I can move it with me.
Yeah.
Stationary shit is not my jam.
That's like Chris holds it like.
Yeah, I do a lot of like mirror.
Yeah. Well, I'm like I said, I'm used to holding the mic. Even when I do my podcast, I usually.
I was gonna say I
mic.
also record 3 to 4 times a week, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. But like the first time that I did stand up, because like I said, I did a lot of like writing and prep and rehearsing before I even went up the first time, and it was terrible jokes, and it wasn't like the greatest set ever, but it was still decent for a first time. I felt, and I got some good laughs. But as soon as I got that first good laugh, I was like, "Yep, this is what I got to do." And so I immediately just started like because there wasn't a lot of opportunities for stage time. It's not like there's tons of shows. There was one comedy club, and it was like an hour and a half from where I lived. And, there wasn't really a bunch of open mics. Like now in Sioux Falls, the comedy scene has changed tremendously because there's actually a scene. There's a handful of people that do comedy. There's some road comics that are based out of Sioux Falls. And then you've got, they've got the club and stuff. And they've always kind of had a club, and it's, they've had really bad luck with clubs, really. Yeah. They have, because they've opened and then closed, opened and then closed. This one's been going for like 3 years, which is great because it's like basically one of the longest running clubs in the last 10 years. So
with South Dakota, I always hear used to be. There used to be this spot.
Yeah, exactly.
People talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So there wasn't a lot of stage time, and there wasn't really a scene, so I just started creating my own. Like, I started my own show up in Watertown where I lived, and I just started, because I had the material was terrible, but I gave myself more time, so I was, like, stretching right away.
Wow.
And I made a really rookie mistake, like, right before I moved to California, because I moved to California about maybe like 6 months after I started comedy. 7 months.
Did you move for comedy, or was it something else?
It was a combination of things.
Okay.
So comedy was one of the main factors. Also, I was in a relationship, and her family lived in San Diego, and she wanted to move because she was from San Diego. She wanted to move back.
Hell yeah.
Because I was actually going to go to L.A. is what I was. I was like, oh, man, I'm the greatest comedian. I'm ready to go to L.A. And then we started dating, and she wanted to move to San Diego. And San Diego's still close to L.A. It's Southern California.
Yeah, and they have their own kind of scene down in San.
No, they don't kinda. They have a scene.
Okay.
They have one of the best scenes in the country. And one of the most beautiful things about it, it's like a secret. Like, people don't realize how good it is. Some of the greatest comics are coming out.
Is La Jolla by San Diego?
Yeah, La Jolla is San Diego, essentially. Okay. Yeah. So the La Jolla Comedy Store is there. And I know a lot of people that have worked there. But, like, Zoltan, as an example. Do you know who Zoltan? Do you know? You don't know who he is? Oh,
that's funny. Have you heard?
No. The reason I ask is because Alex is a big fan of his.
Oh.
That's why I was.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was like, do you not know? Because Alex and I actually had a conversation about trying to get him to come.
Yep.
Out here.
now I know what you're talking about. My brain, whenever I hear that name, though, I always go
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's my car?
Yeah. Yep. But he's based out of San Diego. I mean, he started in San Diego.
Gosh,
so there's
San Diego is beautiful.
Yeah, there's really great comics that have started it. Like Jimmy O Yang. He started out of, in San Diego. I actually met him a couple times, before he blew up as an actor.
No shit.
Yeah. And then Bobby Lee was from San Diego. So, like, it's had a scene for a long time, and there's some really good talent that keeps coming out of it.
I think Ali Wong...
What's that?
So you ended up in San Diego then?
Yeah, I ended up in San Diego. Okay. Yeah. So I ended up in San Diego, but, like, I made a rookie mistake. Before I moved, I was like, I'm ready to record a comedy album. Let's do this. And I recorded a comedy album. And then I released said comedy album. And then a few years later, I was like, oh, my God, this is terrible. And I did my best to scrub it from the internet.
Well, but I mean, was the crowd receptive?
Yeah. I mean, but the crowd was also mostly just my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because I filmed it in the town where I lived, and I filmed it at the pub where we all hung out, and comedy was new to that area, so people were coming out and enjoying it. A lot of my other friends were doing the open mics and performing as well. A lot of them don't now, but so it was like a new thing in that area, that small town, and so people were coming out. So yeah, there was a lot of people there, and it was received well, but the jokes were terrible.
So how long were you in California then?
I lived in California for about 5 years.
Wow.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, because I moved there 2011.
Okay.
And I came back in 2016.
What were you doing for work out there?
whatever.
I mean, really? You were like just picking up odds and ends?
Well, no, I had some jobs. I mean, but see, everything out there, that's what really tripped me up is like, I knew the cost of living was going to be more expensive in California. Like, I was well aware of that. But in my brain, I thought, well, jobs are going to pay accordingly, you know? So, and then I got there and I realized, no, that is not the case. A lot of the jobs barely pay minimum wage. And I'm like, how does anybody live out here? Like, I ended up so I had a couple main jobs. Like one, I worked at a scuba shop for a little while, and then I got let go.
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Well, I'm not really a scuba guy.
I didn't really in San Diego.
Yeah, but
that's
I didn't
like
really.
A movie.
Yeah, right. But I didn't really fit in. Like I was the guy that was like not really in the scuba.
Like you a bunch of questions. You're like, I don't know.
Well, so I worked. So they were like an online retailer. I mean, they had like the store, but like. I was just their nerd. That's why I got hired to do computer stuff and like help with like eBay and stuff because I had owned a comic book store and so I have all this experience with eBay and online retail. So
you can't just throw shit like that out there. I worked at a scuba shop.
Okay,
I owned a comic book store.
Where's my phone? Do you have your phone?
Like, we need to
I need you to start taking notes
notes
because I have so many fucking
There's
questions.
just so many. We got. Okay.
You guys are like, whoa, we gotta unpack some things. What's going on? This is too much chaos. You're throwing too many things. What is this life?
I know. I'm like, tell me more about your life. Okay, gotta find my notes. Keep
this
going.
Is what's funny about that. I have a friend that I went to grade school with, and one time he made the observation to me. He was like, "Man, you have lived so many different lives. Have you thought about this?"
For
he was
real?
Like, you were married and did like domesticated life. You owned a business. You do comedy. You do. He's like, you've had so many different lives. And I was like, I never really think about.
Did you write down comic books?
Hell, I wrote comic book store down. Okay, so you worked there.
Yeah, so I worked there for like about a year, and then I got let go. And then I found another job. Because of the eBay stuff, which was my favorite job out there, is I was an eBay lister, but I worked for a company called Matson Company. There we go. Having problems with my words. And they were an estate liquidation company. But what they would do is they would, buy estates, and they were referral. So it's not like they advertised. It was word of mouth. And then they would go buy estates, and then they would resell on eBay and Amazon and through Craigslist, and they had a giant warehouse down in Chula Vista. And so all I did is just look, we'd get stuff in, we get our inventory in, and we go through it, look for the stuff that was worth money, do some research, and then put it on eBay. And so I got to see a lot of really cool things like come through there.
Did you ever see a harpoon gun?
I feel like I have. No, I mean, because
really?
So many things come through there. Like, it was crazy how many things would come through. And they would do consignments for people. And, like, there was this old Hispanic guy that he would go down along the border and hit up, like, flea markets and stuff and look for stuff. And then he would bring it to the shop to see about having it consigned. And I don't remember who the artist was, but he found a painting that was worth, like, from a famous artist, and they sent it in and had it authenticated, and it was a real painting, and then they ended up sending it to one of the big auction houses, and it went for like $200,000 or something like that.
Crazy.
Like, it was,
whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy, the stuff that would come through there.
That is fucking wild. Okay, so we're gonna sit in San Diego for a second.
That's right. That's fine.
Because there's so many things. I mean, my parents fucking love San Diego. We had an incredible experience in San Diego. Mm-hmm. We were at, what was it? Do you remember the name of that hotel we were at?
Mm-mm. We were on the Pacific Boardwalk area.
Oh, okay. So Pacific Beach.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We were like in a hotel like right off the beach.
You know that, that pier that has all of those like
That's
beach
the
houses?
boardwalk,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
So we were like real close to there.
Oh, okay.
Like, I never walked through LA by myself with my child, but with my daughter, what was going on? You had like allergies or something was bugging you.
Super bad allergies.
So there was a Walgreens, and I'm like, I think I feel comfortable. Like, the people in San Diego are so nice. I'm not saying the people in LA are not, but I'm
I
like,
got a cold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got a cold.
San Diego's like super chill.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Super
I think
laid
I feel
back.
comfortable with just walking with our daughter to the Walgreens. It was like half a mile away. Walked it. No one bothered us. You mean all these people are like running. They're super fit. And I'm like, okay. No,
that sounds right for Pacific Beach. Like, yeah. So it's funny. After the show last night, I was talking to somebody, and it came up that I lived in San Diego. And they're like, "Oh man, I lived in San Diego for like 8 years." And we started talking about places that we knew, and Pacific Beach came up because he was like, "Yeah, I liked." Because he lived in Ocean Beach, and he's like, "Yeah, I really liked Ocean Beach a lot better than, like Pacific Beach." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel you." Pacific Beach was one of those places, like, anytime I went out there, I felt way too old to be there. Like, that's what it was to
very
me.
hipstery, young.
Yeah, very young. I'm like, and it wouldn't matter how old I was. I'd always feel too old to be there.
The best thing was at like 7 a.m. we get up to go eat breakfast at this place that was right next to the hotel we were staying at. And the seating was out, so you're facing the boardwalk. And there's this guy, I think he was like 40. And then there was this older gentleman that was sitting right next to him. And he had a bag of dog treats. And people running with their dogs would stop and talk to the younger dude. And the older guy would give the dog a treat, and then they would move on. Like, and there wasn't like a sign. There was no money exchange or anything. They would just go up and chat with this dude. And eventually, the older dude left, and younger guy was finishing his coffee. And I was like, I'm sorry. I gotta know. This is fascinating. Why are people? Are you like the king of the beach? What's going on here? And he was like, "Oh no. I just come here every morning."
Yeah.
And people just got used to seeing my face. We started bringing the dog treats. And we were like, this is San Diego.
That's
like, this
exactly.
It was so beautiful. And I was like, we've never been to San Diego specifically. We've been to LA and other cities, but why do you live here? And he said that he was a surfer.
Yeah,
first.
he was from the East Coast.
Yeah, so he moved out because he was a surfer.
He flew out there to surf one time, and he's like, "I gotta live here."
No, I can see that.
Yeah,
I mean, if it wasn't so expensive.
So
that's the tag. So he's like, "I love it here. It's the best city in the world, and you pay. It is more expensive, but that's the sunshine tax."
Oh yeah, that's what they call it, sunshine tax. And because of that, so I had that the job, the real or the estate liquidation company. That was like my main gig, pretty much the whole time I was in California. But in addition to that, when I could get paid comedy gigs, I had money from comedy coming in a little bit here and there. But then I also do at that time it was Postmates. I mean, Postmates is still around, but I did Postmates a lot when I was out there.
So it was like you had to work constantly just to keep your head afloat.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really enjoy San Diego because I couldn't afford to enjoy San Diego. There's a lot of cool free things you could do, because you've got Balboa Park and there's Old Town and all these cool little places you can go that are free, which I would go enjoy that kind of stuff. But I didn't go to any of the
Did you ever go to Comic-Con?
Oh, I did. I went to Comic-Con several times. I actually got in as a industry.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I went for a couple of years. Actually, the first year I was out there, I volunteered. I didn't get to go in, but I was outside handing out flyers for video games for Rockstar. Yeah, doing guerrilla marketing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was for a Grand Theft Auto game. I got sunburned so bad.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my God, that's what I was like.
Well, being Ukrainian, you burn
exactly.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm very, very pasty. It's like I only have two colors. I'm paste and crispy.
Like a marshmallow.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, what's crazy? I went to put on a sunblock not too long ago. And I couldn't tell if I put it on because it just blended with my skin. I was like, and I do have bad eyes, but I'm like, did I get this? I'm like, what the? And it's like, so if I went to go get, if I had to do makeup and they're like doing a skin tone, it'd just be like sunblock. That's my skin tone. That's how white I am. All right.
So did you leave California because it was so expensive to live there? Or?
Part of it was that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to a point in like with comedy where I didn't feel like I was gonna grow anymore in San Diego. You know, like I felt like I got to that point where I was doing some feature work. Once in a while could headline a show, but like there's a lot of stage time, but it's not quantity, you know. So like a lot of the shows, they do a lot of showcase style shows. So, you know, it's 8 to 10 comics doing 8 to 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the headliners when they headline, you know, unless it's a regular show at a club, but like a lot of the other shows, you know, they might do 20 minutes tops, 15, 20 minutes. So there's not like a lot of space to grow. And especially if you're not doing a bunch, you know, people like Zoltan, he got to the point where he could headline wherever in San Diego, you know, so he get all the stage time he wanted or whatever, which you can grow really quickly when you can do that. Yeah. I wasn't at that level, so I wanted to get to where I can have more stage time, and I knew coming to the Midwest would do that, and that's because you can work the road. It's also more affordable to work the road from the Midwest. Yeah. Living out there, you know, you have to pay to travel. You have to fly and this and that, and comedy doesn't pay that great. So
Really?
Really, I know. Isn't that crazy? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I know. I'm full of shit. I'm super wealthy. That's why I'm here. I was like, you know what? I don't need to make money. I made all the money in California, and I'm like, now
just sitting in a savings account, just full of all that. Yeah.
Yep. Just getting mold on it. Oh, it's terrible.
I hate when that happens with money.
That's why we keep our money in one of those humidity boxes, like for cigars.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart.
yeah.
Keep that mold off it. Oh, but yeah, so that's why I moved back to the Midwest.
Did you move back then to South Dakota?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Because I had a friend who, you know, because I was already thinking about it, so I went on a tour, like the summer before I moved back, and the tour we drove from California to Texas, and then we came up through Kansas, and we did some shows in South Dakota, and then we circled around through Arizona and whatever, and it was great. It was, you know, with a couple of my really good comedy friends, and we had just a blast. But when we were in the Midwest, I really started to kind of get homesick for the people, because the people are nicer in the Midwest, you know, like people are pretty cool in, you know, San Diego, you know, but there's a lot of
different.
fake. It's different.
Yeah.
And everybody's like not what they are. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an actor. Well, what have you been in? Well, I'm actually, you know, just working on it. You know, I'm.
Did you see that hemorrhoid commercial from a week ago? I was that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, you know, that 1 second where just that was me. I was the hemorrhoid. All right. But yeah, so there's like a lot of like fakeness in Southern California, which, you know, I get it. Fake it till you make it. That's the saying, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people are trying to do, trying to make it or whatever. But after being back in the Midwest for so long, I was just like, you know what? I kind of miss being here. So I had already started thinking about moving back, and my lease was coming up on my apartment, and it was going to be a good time to go. And my friend was like, hey, if you want to move back, you know, I'd be glad to have you. And he let me stay with him until I got back up on my feet when I moved back. He was like, just crash on my couch.
So I'm assuming that relationship with that girl didn't.
Oh, no, obviously not. That was part of the. So here comes some more stuff. Get those notes ready.
I'm ready.
Get ready for the notes. So we
stuck.
had a weird ending to our relationship. So crazy. I wrote a one-man show, that shameless plug, that's available on Amazon Prime. It's called It Was Supposed to Be a Love Story. But we were engaged.
Oh.
And we had a wedding, and then a few days later, she decided she did not want to be married.
Huh.
So we essentially had a faux wedding.
A wedding?
Yeah.
Who paid for the faux wedding?
I did.
Oh.
We did. Both of us. I mean, mostly me.
So was it annulled then?
So this is how it worked. And I checked with some attorneys to make sure it was kosher. But We just didn't turn in the wedding license.
Oh.
And wedding license expire.
Oh.
So.
Shit, maybe we're not real married.
So technically, you know, in the eyes of God and friends and family, we were actually married. But by the state of California, it did not happen. So.
I see.
Yeah. So.
Well, the nice thing is that God isn't real, so you don't have to worry about that part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about it. That's history. That's history. But there was like a lot more to it because she was kind of, had some issues. She struggled. Let's just say that. I think she had some mental health issues. And you know, I think she suffered from a little bit of depression and things like that. And there was definitely some darkness there. And our relationship just did not end well. It was way bad. If you want to know all the details, go watch my one-man show. It was supposed to be a love story.
It was supposed to be a love story. I like it. It's a stand-up special?
It's a one-man show, so I also write poetry. And so what I did is I took some of my stand-up and I mixed it with poetry.
Okay.
Oh.
And so, like, a lot of the poetry was stuff that I wrote, like, after we broke up. Because I was pretty heartbroken.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
We had some issues prior to getting married, and I thought we kind of worked them out. A lot of it had to do with me being gone all the time with comedy, you know, that kind of thing, and being neglectful. And I wasn't really there to help with the, you know, the wedding. Like, and that made her feel like I didn't want to marry her, you know. Like, I totally understand where she was coming from.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. And I think deep down, maybe subconsciously, I had reservations about our relationship, and I think that's why it didn't necessarily take it as serious. Like, it was like, okay, I don't know that this is the right thing, you know, but I'm in love, you know. So just you just think past it or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're always going to have like that because when you go through something traumatic, which I would say that divorce is it may not be as traumatic as going to war or something like that, but like it definitely logs in your memory.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're always going to have that slight reservation on certain things, and like that this little thing in the back of your mind that's like to protect you, but also makes you kind of slightly question things. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's definitely there. And especially, you know, like I said, I was married for so long before, and it was like, I mean, I'm still kind of, you know, reservations about long-term kind of commitments and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm in a great relationship now, so it worked out really good.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend is fantastic, by the way.
No, thank you. Thank you. That's right. You met her because she was at the show.
yeah. Well, and we went to that bar afterwards. And
yeah. That's what I mean. We hung out. Yeah.
Very nice lady.
So that ended. You're like, did the tour of the Midwest, and you're like, cool, I'm going to go back home.
Yep. Pretty much. I mean, I lived out there for like a year or so after the relationship ended. So it's not like I was just like, oh, I'm gone now.
No,
you know, I had my own apartment with a roommate. And when I say roommate, I say like a bunch of roommates, because there was one other guy that was on the lease, but like his girlfriend lived there, and then a bunch of my friends stayed there all the time. So it was like this weird little 2-bedroom apartment
with
where
lots of people
all
cycling.
Kinds of comics. That's how people survive out there.
Yeah, that's how you have to. You're like, no, there's just 2 people on the lease, but there's 8 people really paying for that lease.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People would, you know, pitch in when they could, and
Something
had people
that's
like
really...
sleep on my floor in my bedroom. Like a friend crashed on the couch, another person slept like on the floor in the living room. It was pretty ridiculous.
Something that's really interesting about you, you like I think of planning an initiative with you and then adapting. Like, even though you like having a plan and you like, you know, knowing the ins and out of whatever industry you're in or whatever job you have, you also accept like the climate. So like, even though you have these things that you know you need to survive, you also accept the the nuances that come with whatever that is. So like with comedy, like when you're describing, people sleeping on the floor and stuff, I would imagine in your head, you're like, yeah, this is what it's supposed to be like.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this is what comics go through.
That's because once you're in comedy for a while, you see that, oh man, this does not pay very well. And,
But that's the other interesting thing is that like you do that. And so you're able to live in that moment and be okay, which is kind of rare because people in those situations can really spiral.
Oh,
like they have these expectations, and so you do. That's what I'm trying to say. You manage your expectations really well. Ashi, do you want to tell the folks about Modified Tattoo?
What do you think, Ash?
They do piercings, tattoos, locally owned, locally grown, all Minnesota boys.
But they don't do tattoos and piercings on dogs.
They don't. But they'll do a tattoo of your dog. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Chris.
What you doing?
Just enjoying this great fall weather. You know what I love more than this fall weather?
What's that?
Getting tattoos and piercings.
God, I love getting tattoos. Can't wait to get a sick neck tattoo from my homie Keith. It's going to be dope as fuck.
Can we redo that?
No. A Modified Tattoo and Piercing in Becker, Minnesota, right off of Highway 10 on Bank Street. Book online. They are book by appointment only right now. No in-person stuff to make sure that everybody stays safe.
Which is great because then you can send them your idea. They design it. You go back and forth. It's not like you're walking in with an idea and they have to take time to design it. That way when you walk in, you're ready to go. The design's ready to go. You collaborate together. The artists are fantastic.
100% solid individuals. We love them. And to top it off, you can go to modifytattoo.com right now and enter promo code DuckDuckGrayDuke and get 15% off anything in their merch store that includes the jewelry.
Yeah, which is crazy. They have great jewelry, very great. So that 15% makes a difference.
Handpicks all the jewelry and sterilizes. I've seen him at that fucking desk for hours on end sterilizing everything to make sure that everybody is safe and no infections or any of that garbage.
Yeah.
So, modifytattoo.com to book your appointment today. Enjoy the show.
I've been around the block a few times. That's one thing that's one thing that's always great about getting older. You absorb more wisdom and you learn, as you get older and you experience things. And that's one thing I've realized pretty early on too, is that there's some things that are out of our control. Mm-hmm. You can control so many things, and then there's some things that are out of your control, and you just have to accept it. And the sooner you accept that there are things out of your control, the freer you're going to be, because you're not trying to concentrate on that control. It's whatever happens. I can't do anything about it. I just have to go with the flow and just adapt, and then you're free.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, because then I would say, like, once you got back to South Dakota, that's when people took notice as to, like, not only are you a comic, but you have this really smart way of assessing things and then learning, like, okay, yeah, sure, we could just start having shows, but how do we have successful shows? Mm-hmm. How do we make sure that the comics that we have are good for the crowds that we're bringing in? Like, it's very interesting about you.
Yeah, and that also comes with experience. I mean, that comes with, owning businesses and working at different jobs and seeing how different things work and a lot of failure. I mean, that's where a lot of it comes from, is failure. I produced a ton of unsuccessful shows in San Diego. You're going to ask some comics in San Diego, they'll tell you. Some of the worst shows they did, they were like, yeah, it was your show. I don't know why you had a show at this venue, So, like, yeah, there was definitely failure, but there was also success, Like, I learned that to really be successful, you have to work with other people. That's huge. Like, when I was in San Diego, we met a friend of mine, Brandon Young, who is a fantastic, clean comedian, and he was a fantastic producer. We started producing stuff together, and we started working together, and we did some really good shows. Like we produced a show for Dana Carvey. We produced a show with Gallagher. We had, we opened up our own club, like at a resort. So like which that ultimately didn't last long, and it was very expensive, and we both lost a lot of money on it. But one thing that it was a learning experience, but what we were happy about is that we paid the comics. Every comic that touched our stage got paid unless it was like a guest spot, but the MC got paid, the feature got paid, the headliner got paid. And we didn't have a budget because with how it worked is we didn't get the bar and food sales, because it was one of them situations where we're running a show at this place when they close, the regular hours or whatever, and then we would do shows kind of later at night, but they would let us do the show there. We got ticket sales, they got food and beverage. That was how. So we didn't have to pay rent or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the split went. So if we didn't get anybody in for a show, those comics still had to get paid, So,
shoot.
Yeah. So a lot of money, and ultimately we ended up,
oh yeah, man,
having to pay out of pocket sometimes, because there were times when nobody would show up.
Yeah.
Whatever. There would only be a few people, but that was our biggest thing: is no matter what, all the comics are getting paid. It doesn't matter, because that's the thing. Like a lot of shows out in California, because of their showcase style shows, a lot don't pay. And that's kind of shitty, because a lot of times there's a cover being charged, and there's a producer behind the show, so somebody's making money, and they're just not sharing it. And that's one thing we wanted to try to do. But like I said, a lot of failure came with that. There's plenty of shows where you just didn't get the people in, and they were terrible, or the venue was terrible. You're like, oh, this is going to be a great venue. Like that happened with me. There was a venue I found, and the owner was willing to put a little bit of money into the comedy and give us a little bit of a budget. And I wasn't familiar with San Diego enough, so the neighborhood immediately scared people away. Like, people didn't want to go to this neighborhood. The venue was great, though, but I didn't know this. Yeah. So this neighborhood, people are like, oh, yeah, that's a terrible neighborhood. I don't know why you're trying to do shows there. And, we had a few good shows there, but more so not so good. Because nobody wanted to go. They were scared to go to this neighborhood.
Oh. I see. So you get stabbed in that neighborhood and you stop doing shows there.
Exactly. That's how it works. That's how you do it.
Now let's go back to this comic book store thing.
Yeah.
Chris loves comic books.
So do I.
Well,
all right.
It's a new
I'll
thing.
just take a nap during this segment.
Have you heard of Comics Explained?
I have not.
Okay. Robert Jefferson is this guy who started a YouTube channel and basically does summaries of comic books. But he does a really good job of giving real world examples or analogies of why. Because sometimes when you read a comic book, some of the disposition is weird and doesn't always land unless you're a fan of those characters already.
Yep.
He does a good job of being this is why you should give a shit as to why this character is getting light right now, and so I dove in super deep, and then I bought. I have a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, which is an app where they have all the comic books archived, and you can just fucking go crazy. But my favorite. So first things first, are you Marvel or DC? Which way do you lean?
It's so funny. I get asked that a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, and the answer is,
I like them all.
I'm an independent guy.
Okay.
No.
So
you're
Todd
the third party?
I'm the third party.
Like Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, I like Image. I mean, if I had to choose between those two, I'm more of a DC person than a Marvel. But I prefer, I read more independent comics than anything. And I don't know. For me, as owning a shop kind of led me down that path. That's really, before I owned the shop, I was always DC, Batman, Flash is one of my favorite characters. But then I saw what they did, which when they have a giant story arc, it runs across every book in the universe. and they do crossovers, and to really get the full story, then you have to delve into these other characters, and then you don't know stuff here, so then you have to go dig deeper into their stuff, and so like it just made it so difficult, and I was just like, this is just to get people to buy all their shit. That's what this is, and I don't like this.
That's why like comic book lovers talk about Jonathan Hickman. Like the way that he writes stories, especially for Marvel, like he tries to make it so that you don't have to do that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like he works in enough so that you don't have to go the full backstory. Obviously, if you get all of them, then you get this beautiful, really in-depth, like complicated is the only word I could think of, but not in a negative way. Mm-hmm. Like complex in that it makes the story more rich. Like the Fantastic Four series is one that people talk about a lot. He did a really, really good job of that. But currently, my favorite is Secret Wars 2, where Captain America is basically a Nazi.
Ooh.
And it's fucking awesome.
I've actually, like I said, I read more independent because I really like.
Did you see that poster that's on our wall over there? I'll put the picture up here, but we had an independent comic on Dude Absolutely.
Oh, really?
And he's a black writer, and he's doing all black characters. He's like the Jordan Peele of the comic book world right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
That's one thing that's cool about the cities is there's a lot of comic book industry people in the Twin Cities.
Well, this guy is actually in San Francisco or San Diego. He's somewhere out west.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know there's quite a few people in this area that are in the industry. You might not have known that, but there is.
Well, I'm going to need to do some research because we fucking love comic books.
Elliot Rawl, do you know who he is?
That sounds super familiar.
He dabbled in stand-up comedy for a while, and then I think he had a show, was like Comics and Comics or something that he did at a comic book store.
That sounds really familiar.
But he's a writer. He's a comic book writer based in the Twin Cities. He's one of my favorite. He does a lot of independent stuff, for independent companies.
Okay.
And Vault Comics is probably...
Yeah.
I read a lot of stuff from Vault Comics. A lot of their titles are pretty good. Because the other thing I like about independent comics, a lot of them do like short runs.
Yeah.
They do like basically a 5-book series. So you get full completion right away. And you don't have to buy the same books every month, So, So like with DC or Marvel, if you get a character, you can get those same comics every month or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, this gives me a little more variety because one series ends, so I can spend that money on another book. And so I get to dabble in a lot of different titles and stuff.
Have you heard of, is it Dark Knight?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I've read a lot of the Dark Knight stuff.
I'm talking about the company, not the series.
You mean Dark Horse?
Dark Horse. There we go. That's what I was
Dark
looking for.
Knight is a Batman
Yeah,
series.
no, I know. Dark Horse.
Everyone's
That's what I
heard
was
of
thinking.
Dark
I was like, what?
Dark Horse is one
Who do you think I am?
that I've been meaning to get into because they popped up in my feed. They have this new character who I'm trying to remember the backstory, but like his dad was like a voodoo God damn it, what's the phrase? Basically
like a priest, voodoo priest.
Yes,
or
yes. And then his mom was a witch, and like so it's based in Louisiana. And he's like this superhero with these powers that he pulls from these two different realms.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of that is it Moon Knight? The guy who's in all
What's
white
with all
and he
this
has
night
a hood.
shit?
Yeah, that's Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight. It reminded me of that, but apparently people have a lot of problems with that character because it's never really done well.
Yeah, I know of the character, and I don't know why it didn't do well. It's
so
weird.
what?
But I think part of that is a lot of these characters that they come up with. There's already a character. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's even in their own universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically they just like try to regurgitate the same ideas, but try to add a little something different to make it different.
Moon Knight is one that like they could make amazing because his plight is mental health stuff. like bipolar, schizophrenic, and like has these, and they try to, like, the original guy who wrote it like tried to integrate that as best he could, and at the time people just weren't about mental health stuff. Yeah. So like they're trying to revive
ahead of
him.
Its time.
I think they're talking about having Keanu Reeves play him in a movie, to try and because now it's important again. And
well, because I actually thought I heard that they were making a Moon Knight movie, but I don't know. I don't keep up on a lot of that stuff.
So what characters do you keep up on? Like, who could you do like a big old diatribe on?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm fans of characters, but like I haven't gone like super deep into.
Well,
so but like Batman, I read probably more Batman than anything. Gambit was a favorite character of mine in Marvel.
Fucking love
the Raging Cajun. Flash was another one that I really liked. Trying to think, and
who's
then,
one that people should look into more, or like a comic book series?
Oh, Deadpool's another one that I
really
like. I mean, who doesn't? That
I just read the King of the Monsters series.
Yeah, was it good?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
His the Assassins one was pretty good. I actually got into Deadpool because of the Marvel video game. Marvel Alliance, I think. Was that the game that came out on... Was it Marvel Alliance? I think it was Marvel Alliance. This is the video game. This was years ago. Like, a long time ago. That was, like, probably 10 years ago when that game came out. More than that. I think it was out on Xbox. But, yeah, so, like, because of that game, that's what got me into Deadpool. Because he was one of the characters you could play. And, like, all the characters had, like, little taunts. And his was always so funny. And I was like, oh man, this character's freaking awesome. I need more of this.
Yeah. Marvel did an animated movie. I think it was Wolverine versus the Hulk, and Deadpool is a part of this. These mercenaries, and yeah, the shit that he was saying in that was absolutely hilarious. Like, he gets his head cut off and he keeps talking and. It's just, he's such a fucking funny character.
He is. And this might be controversial to some people that are super uber comic nerds, but Deadpool, by far, the best Marvel movie they've ever made.
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
I don't care what anybody says about Avengers, Iron Man, any of the other... That is my top movie. As soon as they started making R-rated comic book movies, I was like, I'm in. And Deadpool was just amazing, which led the way for Logan, and that was another great movie. Like, those to me are their best Marvel movies.
Did you see Logan?
No.
It's the Wolverine movie where he's an older guy.
No, you watch those without me. It's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm a nerd, so.
So where did the comic book store come about?
Yeah.
It came about from my attic. No.
You were an addict?
No, not an addict. My attic.
So house. You had it.
I mean, I did have an ad. I did. I was, addicted to nerd stuff.
I think you're supposed to be on Dude Absolutely for that.
Sucking
dick for comics.
All right. Now the show's going to get started. But I've always been a nerd. So, like, since I was a kid, I read comic books. Like, I was a nerd before being nerd was cool, before nerd culture was whatever.
When you were still getting shoved into lockers, and now other kids are high-fiving you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm cool.
Now you're cool. Then. Damn it. If you could go back in time, you wouldn't be shoving me in a locker in 20 years.
Yeah, right? You'll be asking me to run your company.
Yeah, yes.
That's really funny.
Yes. Gosh.
But yeah, and I was really big into gaming. Like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
I was big into Magic the Gathering.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I got into that. Like, all my friends, like we, Dungeons and Dragons, we role played, stuff like that. I still do a lot of that stuff. And I got into Magic because I worked for an overwrap company that had a contract with Wizards of the Coast, and so they packaged the Magic cards. Like, they cut the sheets down and the decks, and then had these machines that basically made the packs or whatever and did all the packaging or whatever. So that's how I learned about Magic. Like, my friends played it and I knew of the game, but until I was like working at this company, because we had what were called hand lines, where there might be a defective card and you would have to just sort through cards and look for that one defective card and take it out.
Wow.
Very, very monotonous kind of work.
Were you allowed to keep those cards? Or
No. They're very strict. Like, that stuff got shredded, like, because of there's a black market for
defective cards, I'm
stuff
sure.
like, because that makes it worth more money.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. The imperfections make them worth way more money. So no, you would like have to, they had this big shredder where they would like shred this stuff and then bale it, and lots of security on the premises, lots of cameras. Like, it was crazy. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Makes
I worked for a company that made explosive devices that didn't have as much security as the overwrap place. Wow. Like, that's how serious they were about their stuff.
What haven't you done? Can I just throw that out there?
This is awesome.
That's what happens when you're somebody at my age. You've done a lot of stuff.
I know a lot of people your age who have done one thing.
Yeah.
So,
I've been at my dad's company for the last 30 years. And I love it.
I like to move around, I guess.
Yeah. You want to experience life. That's fun.
Exactly. Well, but see, so that the job where I worked for the company that was explosives or whatever, I worked at that company when I opened my comic book store. In fact, I worked there while I still had my comic book store.
Okay.
So, like, I still had a full-time job and I ran a comic book store. And the comic book store came up because another friend who I met at that job, he's a huge comic book nerd. Like, he's a huge DC guy. Like, he gets every title every month. He's been collecting since he was like 8 years old. You know, he's a few years older than me. I think he's probably late 40s, early 50s. He had tons and tons and tons and tons of comics. Like, we helped him move, and we had to put an assembly line because when he bought this new house, he was putting his comics down in the basement, and we did an assembly line. Like, that's how many boxes of comics. Like, he has like now probably even more. This was like 10 years ago. He had like 200 long boxes of comics. It's ridiculous. Anyway, but he was a huge collector, and we both had like extra stuff that we didn't necessarily need. And I'd been, we started talking about opening up our own shop or whatever. And, hey, well, eBay was kind of big back then. And so what we did is we took all our extra stuff and we started working out of my house, just in my upstairs, and we were selling stuff on eBay. And then we got a resale license and stuff to make it all legit. And then that let us get distributors. And so then we had friends that were, into that stuff. And there wasn't really a comic book store or gaming store in the area. Oh. So, like, friends that were into that stuff were buying from us outside, in my house. And then from there, we did that for about a year. And then we decided to take the plunge and open up a brick and mortar store. And so then we did. And then we had that for like 5 or 6 years. I think it was 6 years total. Like, he ended up leaving like a year or so before I closed. He got out of the company because he wanted to go do some other stuff. And so then I bought him out. And then I had it for like another year, and then ultimately I ended up having to close too. So
sure. Man, that's so awesome.
Special markets, man.
I was going to say, so what are there comic books that you reserved for yourself because of like either the rarity or uniqueness?
Not necessarily. I mean, we didn't take money from the company. So
that thing is smidge closer.
Oh, sorry. We didn't take money from the company. So what we did is we just paid ourselves in product.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what we basically just gave ourselves gift certificates and just got, because we ordered our comics or whatever. He had his stuff that he got, and then I did my stuff, gaming and comics that I got. So that's how we paid ourselves while we had the company or whatever, which is good because that was money we didn't have to spend on the stuff we were going to spend anyway, It worked out fine.
That's like this wedding I shot to get tattoos. It's like, I'm going to get fucking tattoos anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a couple of employees too. So like, it was doing good enough to keep keep itself open or whatever. So it worked for us, and we both had really good jobs where we were at. So it was, it was fine. But so not really. I mean, I had like everything I had from then, I sold before I moved to California. Because when I moved to California, I pretty much sold everything.
Oh, wow.
And when I closed, I sold a lot of stuff too. When the shop closed, try to liquidate as much as I could. Sure. So, I didn't really. But there's like comic books that are worth money now that I wish I would have bought then. Like I would have knew. Like, and I know there's people. Like a good example is The Walking Dead.
Oh.
It just came out when we opened our store. Like that's one of the when it launched was about the time we opened our store. And I remember people requesting that comic. They're like, "Oh, this is a pretty good comic," or whatever. It's just an independent title.
Yeah. And I forget, did Marvel buy them at one point?
No, I don't think.
Because it's available on my Marvel thing.
Oh well, maybe they did. Now I don't know. But then it was a very independent comic, and it got popular. And then obviously the series is what launched it. And now, like a lot of those comics are $2,000-$3,000. Like the number one, I think, in like near mint condition is between $2,000 and $3,000 is what it's worth. And like all the issues under 100 are a couple $100. Man, like it's crazy. And I'm like, oh man, because that doesn't happen with a lot of modern comic books because they're so overproduced that they don't retain value. They're not like collector's items anymore. I mean, people
and the
collect
digitization them. of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, but that's pros and cons. I mean, one of the pros is that because they're doing more of the digital stuff, the print stuff is going to be a little more rare because there's not going to be as much printed now. So that's going to make the printed stuff a little more collectible than because like in the 90s and the 2000s, that's when comics really got overproduced and they're just like overprinting and everything. But
when you look back on like if you listen to any comic book series, it doesn't matter what company it is, the amount of times that they say that they almost went under it's the continuity on that regard.
Oh, absolutely. It's a tough industry, and it's right now. It's amazing. I mean, I'm sure it's still tough, but it's amazing right now in our time that comics are doing really well. Like I remember even when I had a comic book store. I mean, when I had my shop, that's when stuff was kind of starting to, comics were slowly getting a little more popular, where you would see some comic books based on TV series, and TV series started popping up based on comic books, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But now you can walk into a comic book store, you can think of anything, your favorite TV show or something, and it's probably going to have a comic book. They have Star Trek comic books. They have, they have Barbie comic books. They have they have all kinds of kids stuff too now. I mean, it's crazy. Like, and you just go in there and there's titles everywhere. There's comic books based on TV series. There's movies. There's books. There's, Stephen King has had some comic book stuff come out. The Dark Tower series was a comic book.
Oh yeah.
His son Joe Hill does a lot of comic books. He does a lot of the horror genre, and so it's just crazy how popular it is now.
Yeah. People are definitely hungry for it. Speaking of hungry, it's time for our favorite segment, where Dan gets diagnosed with corona.
Yeah, right? No, I better not. I got things coming up. I can't be getting sick. My voice just is. I've been talking all weekend.
Oh,
so.
sure.
No, I know. And like you're so afraid to cough ever. Mm-hmm. Like I'm a big person where I swallow too much of my spit. I don't know why, and I always cough because of it. And especially when you're at Target, you're like holding it in, like, oh my gosh, don't cough. And
I've had really bad allergies since I moved to Minnesota.
Chris, terrible. Yeah.
I have not. Until I moved to Minnesota, allergies were not a thing for me that bothered me. But now, the different vegetation around here, I'm always, paranoid. Because
you cough because you're, swallowing, the drainage from your nose goes back down there.
Yeah,
and it irritates your throat, so you have to cough.
It's I have, cough drops in my pocket not because of a cold, but because it helps
the irritation. Yeah,
the irritation from the sinuses and stuff draining.
Yeah,
and it helps because I talk a lot.
So what do we got, Kim Duke?
So I'm a big fan of Smart Sweets because I tried giving up sugar, and so it's like my way of getting sweets. Ooh. And this is one of the ones we haven't tried. There's also, they just came out with sour gummy worms for Halloween, and I cannot find them. Took me a long time to find.
Hotcakes.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think they have them at Target.
Do you find those? Is that like in the health food section?
No, it's in the candy section.
Oh, okay.
It is, yeah. At Target and all that. I used to get them at GNC in like a big box. I like the peach rings ones, and then that's for you. Yeah,
good.
And what was the other one I really like? Peach rings and the Swedish fish kind of ones.
Yeah.
But this is a new one, so we're gonna give it a try. It's all plant based. Free from sugar, alcohols. And yeah, there's a shite ton of fiber. The other ones have 100% of your daily fiber. These ones are only 46%, so you won't shit your pants on the way home.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because I do have quite the drive.
And one whole bag of these is 100 calories. I don't know. I love Smart Sweets. I think they're doing a great thing for people who are trying to quit.
So sponsor us, goddammit.
They did use one of my pictures one time on their Instagram.
Oh,
Hello!
wow.
And I got some product from that, and so I love them. But this is a new one. I want to try their gummy worms. I'm going to find them. I just don't go to GNC because I feel like they judge me when I walk in there because I don't have muscles.
Yeah, that's how I feel anytime I go into any health food store.
You're like, I know Whole Foods carries them.
I had this joke I used to do.
So I'm trying not to touch them all. I'm just going to slide them
yeah. So what we do is you'll just pour a little bit out into your hand.
There. Oops.
And
well,
then
I got 4.
we don't eat them right away.
I
don't know if these will have a smell.
They smell like watermelon. What was that sound? That sounded kind of cool. They smell like watermelon.
Yeah, they almost.
Whoa.
A little starbursty.
These ones have way more than the other ones have in the bag. They smell good.
I can't smell nothing.
Well, that's
the COVID. Hey!
Just kidding. They smell like watermelon. Okay. Which watermelon is like my favorite.
Oh,
fruit.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. They feel gooey. Let's just eat them. Ooh, they're sour.
Oh, man. Salivating immediately.
Yep.
I've never had the Sour Patch Kids watermelon things. Are they anything similar?
Kinda.
I think they're probably more sour.
Ooh.
Ooh. There's a lot of sour. I wasn't expecting as much.
So, does this have fake sugar?
It's called
I like it.
allulose, a non-artificial sweetener that is found in foods like raisins and figs.
Okay.
It tastes like sugar, but doesn't act like sugar in your body.
Interesting. Oh. Okay. The reason I ask is a lot of times these sugar-free types of foods and drinks, they have like artificial sweeteners in them that are actually just as dangerous for your body.
So it's plant-based. It's a good source of fiber, free from artificial colors and free from artificial sweeteners.
Wow.
And it is a women-owned company. I do know that because I follow the lady on Instagram.
They're actually really good.
They're from Canada.
And that I'm like, wow, you might have got me on a new product because being diabetic, I do have to worry about that stuff. And sometimes and it's weird because when I was younger, I wasn't big into sweets necessarily, but I drank a lot of soda, and I think that's why, I had a lot of sugar coming in.
Yeah. Were you a Mountain Dewer?
Dr. Pepper, Coke, Mountain Dew, all of it. But I quit drinking, so I haven't had soda in like 5 years.
Good for you.
But then after that, then I started craving more sweets.
Oh.
And now that I'm diabetic, so having stuff
Something,
like that in the house is perfect.
Yeah. Look into it.
I'm definitely going to
They talk a lot about their product, what the stuff they actually use on their Instagram, where they explain a little bit through it. So
yeah, it's good stuff.
They also have Sour Patch Kids kinds. Those ones are really good.
I'll have to check them
out. And then gummy bears and stuff like that.
I'm a big gummy person, too.
So they have regular gummy bears and stuff like that. I like their regular gummy bears. There's peach rings aren't that sour. I like those ones, too. It's a different like texture because it's all plant based. So getting used to that, and then like when you stop eating sweets, like you're not getting the regular peach rings anymore. Then you're like, oh, this is pretty good.
It is interesting. Like it didn't really get like stuck in my teeth. I didn't think about that until.
Well, I have a crooked crack tooth in the back, so it's stuck in there. I got a crown on it.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Like I'm gonna
take a pee real quick.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
like because a lot of times those fake candies essentially are terrible. It's gross.
Yes, or they're like really chewy and gross.
Yeah. That was not the case. Those were really good.
No,
I'm just glad I listened to like an episode where I think you guys had you ate like chocolate covered crickets or something.
No, we had the barbecue flavored crickets.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm glad that was
your
not. Yeah, I'd rather have this than that.
It was funny because our daughter actually tried the cricket, which I was so surprised. Yeah.
I was like, on the way here too, I was actually thinking about that. I was like, do they still do that segment? And I'm like, what gross thing are they going to make? But you had
bull testicles. What's worse than that? A cricket? It was crunchy.
I don't know. I've never had a cricket, so I don't know.
I don't think I'd eat it again.
Like, I've had some exotic food, but I'm not necessarily a fan of exotic food.
Me either. I tried at the state fair alligator bites, but it's just deep fried alligator.
Yeah,
so you could deep fry anything and it would be like, well, that's not that bad. It didn't really taste like
no, it just tasted like meat.
Yeah,
I mean,
meat, and it wasn't.
It's cliche to say, but it tasted like chicken.
It did, yeah, and it was deep fried. I think you can have anything deep fried, and you'd be like, well, it wasn't that bad. Maybe a deep fried cricket, you wouldn't even notice.
Wow,
it'd just be crunchy all over.
I was gonna say, I don't think you'd have to batter it because otherwise, I think you would it would
just disintegrate
into
in the deep fryer.
I think it would just be part of the oil.
It just melt in there, and then you're like, it's just batter.
Yeah, exactly.
All I've been thinking this whole episode is, I know down the road in Big Lake there's a food truck with Fair Foods, and I am definitely gonna go get some cheese curds after this.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, because I had to like stop on the way here at a gas station. I was like, oh man, I did not eat, and I need to eat something, so I just stopped and
What'd you eat?
I just got a corn dog.
I fucking love corn dogs. I love gas station food.
I used to live on gas station food.
Well, I guess if you traveled too. Yeah.
But when I was in San Diego, that's what
because it was affordable.
It was affordable and it was convenient. There was like AM PM out there, which is like the holidays here, essentially, like a chain out in California. Yeah. And there was one right down the street from, like, literally across the street from where I work. So I could stop there in the morning, grab my pop, my soda, my food, my lunch, breakfast, get it all done all at once.
That's like quick trips.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the other thing that I really liked about the job there, is that it was down in Chula Vista, which is close to the Tijuana border. So there was a lot of food trucks. So like a lot of taco shops.
Oh, I fucking love tacos.
Taco trucks.
Oh.
So like for lunch, I'd go get fish tacos.
Oh, stop it.
It was pretty amazing.
I love tacos.
Yes. It was amazing.
I can eat tacos every day, every meal. When we were me and Chris went out to California, just the two of us, like a short trip to celebrate my uterus getting removed. And Chris ate tacos literally every meal one day.
Yeah, I
woke up, we got tacos for breakfast.
Tacos and burritos, man. Oh,
God, they're so good.
That's the one thing I miss about California.
Because the authentic tacos.
Very.
You can... You know, I just want to say something. He was really nervous about the snack section because he listened to the episode with the crickets.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I told her because I was like, even on the way here, I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if they still do this now that they started this back up, and what crazy thing am I going to have to eat? That was not so crazy.
No. We haven't had any really, really gross ones for a while.
That was with Casey, right?
Yeah.
Was it Casey?
Yeah. It was with Casey, and then, like you said, you got your daughter to eat one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was into it, if I remember right.
Yeah. I was just like, but yeah, on the way here, that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, I wonder what I'm gonna.
That's not even the worst one. The worst one. Did you tell him about the seaweed jerky?
Gross. every time you talk about it, I want to vom.
That sounds awful.
It was disgusting.
That was with Doima and Nathan Smezrud, and it was so bad that Nate was like, I'm not sure I believe how bad it was. So he took another bite and was like, oh yeah, it's horrible. It was Yeah, it's indescribable. I've never tasted anything like it, and it was just
the texture.
It's
so it can always be
Yeah.
a texture thing too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I don't
that
like
sounds
mushrooms.
gross.
Mushrooms don't necessarily have a taste. It's a texture thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. I mean, that's like with the Rocky Mountain oysters things. That's what it is. It's more texture than anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh.
Like if I bite into a McChicken and something pops, I can't eat the rest of it. I'm like, oh, there was a vein, there's cartilage. I don't know what the fuck
A
that
beak
was.
might be in there. God, I don't even know.
Oh my God, when it comes to food, I'm like super paranoid too. Like,
Are you?
oh yeah, if I have a bad experience, like one time I accidentally drank spoiled milk. And that was like, I want to say I was like maybe a teenager.
And ever since then,
I rarely drink milk
Okay.
or have milk. And when I do, I'm super paranoid. I like open it up, I smell it, you know, and I put it down. I smell it again. I, you know, maybe take a little taste or like I'll pour a cup or whatever.
Watch
and then
as
I'll
you're
like,
pouring it.
and then I'll like take a little like, little tongue there.
Milk is just not very good. Let's just
And
be
then,
honest.
yeah.
Unless it's with something.
Yeah.
Milk on its own. I've never been a big milk drinker either. And it's got to be real cold milk.
Yeah. But one thing, this is a weird combination, but a tall glass of cold milk is really good with pizza.
What?
Really?
To me. I'm
Do you like spicy pizzas?
sometimes. I mean,
What's
yeah.
your
Do you
go-to
throw
pizza?
The peppers on there and all that?
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking love crushed
Okay,
peppers.
that makes sense then.
My go-to is, here's another controversial thing. But
Oh, here we go. You're just
I'm
full of controversy.
I am.
And that Ricola right there.
That's right.
That's
Fed
the
up.
best kind.
Yes, these are amazing. Said my throat's all crackly from all the talking I've did all
Chris is
weekend.
getting his Nick gum over here.
Yeah, if you want some nicotine gum, I'm the guy.
Oh, are you? Wow, I don't. No nicotine for this fella.
I thought I had him in my car because you drove my car, and I'm like, what would it? I don't smoke or and no nicotine or anything, and I'm like, I wonder how sick I would get if I chewed this piece of gum, and then I'm like, not worth it.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
it's not.
controversy.
Okay, so I'm a big, for the most part, like if you buy a frozen pizza or whatever, I just do Supreme or whatever. That's the go-to. But my favorite go-to pizza, if I'm going to order a pizza, ham, Canadian bacon, pineapple,
Oh fuck yeah.
and jalapeno peppers.
Oh,
Those three toppings make the ultimate pizza.
It's like the umami.
Oh, yeah, it's freaking amazing. And I know a lot of people are like, you can't have pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple on pizza. It's so
Those
good.
people are wrong.
They're
Yeah.
wrong.
They
And
really
you know
are.
what? I don't know.
You know what's sad? I used to be those people. When I was younger,
You were that person.
I was that person. Like the warm watermelon. I'm thinking about those now. Thinking about the candy we had. The warm pineapple was weird to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
As like a kid, or
Yeah.
like it was just a weird thing. But as I've gotten older,
The thing is, though, with that pizza stuff too, is like, have anyone have these people ever had kebabs where there's pineapple on the kebab and it gets warmed up? Like, it's delicious.
oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, now I love grilled water.
Yeah.
I keep saying watermelon.
People do grill watermelon, though.
They do. You know what I did as an experiment? I didn't know how it would go, and it
Kissed a
ended
guy.
up, huh?
Huh?
What?
No.
It ended up being really good. As I grilled cucumber.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I could see that. Yeah.
I had a bunch of cucumbers because somebody gave us some cucumbers.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them to go to waste. I was like, I wonder what this would be like if we,
Yeah.
grilled this. People do squash and
Yeah, I
stuff
love
like that.
grilling zucchini. It's so good.
And so it was
Yeah.
like, I'll do it. So I like chopped it up into like chunks and then put like olive oil and some garlic, on it or whatever. Put a few spices and then put it on the grill and let it get,
Yeah.
that perfect texture. And it was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I was expecting it to be terrible. I had very low expectations.
And it's good when you go in with low expectations because then your taste buds are like, okay, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
and
like-
see, that's why you earlier you're talking about how like I adapt. I set low expectations.
Yeah.
That's why. Like I never try to like set high because I don't like if you set too many high expectations, you just end up getting let down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
when I first started
keep them low.
dating, and I'm like low expectations.
Yeah.
That's how I got Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see
it's
that.
funny that
She wouldn't date guys unless they had at least one missing tooth.
that's not true. They had to be real dirty looking though. I loved them dirty. One thing, it's funny, I used to say all the time in high school, like I would do something half-assed and be like, well, it's good enough for the guys I date. Because that's how my expectations were, like, well, it's good enough.
That's funny.
Yeah. And so I was helping my friend and her husband sheetrock their shop, and I was like, it was like a little crooked, but not really. It looked good enough. I'm like, well, and out of my head, all of a sudden I go, well, good enough for the guys I date. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, in high school, I used to say this thing, and yeah. Sorry, love you.
That's right. He's super, super anal about the
I do love anal. You are correct.
Yeah. I
About the
know,
sheetrocking?
because you're waiting for somebody to splooge on your back. We were talking about that earlier.
Are we going to have to start shaving your back if you get a tattoo back there?
There's really only the one patch of hair
Got one giant patch of thick
on my
hair
lats.
on the right side. It's starting to come in on the left
then
side.
Then just get the tattoo on the left side. It's probably
Yeah. Leave
right?
the space, like make it like tattoo around.
Incorporate the hair into the tattoo. That's something you haven't. I don't think I've seen yet. I mean, I guess maybe I have.
Yeah.
I guess they have. There's been a few, like on mostly bald spots though.
Oh,
where they,
yeah.
where
Like
they
the guy mowing the
incorporate-
lawn or something. Yeah.
Like people get eyeliner tattooed on.
Mm-hmm.
People have tattooed their lips.
I do want to get lipstick tattooed on. It looks really painful, and some.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible.
Well, you also wanted to inject your lips. That's one way to swell those lips up. Is get them tattooed.
I'm not gonna do it though. I'm too old now. I don't really care.
A friend of mine just got her palms tattooed.
Ugh.
And it's like, that is such... I love you, Mina. You're fantastic. But it's such a temporary thing.
Because of how much you wash your hands.
Yeah, washing your hands. The healing process is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, yeah. I
Did she get eyes tattooed on
No,
so she could do this?
It actually looks really cool. It's like a rabbit like jumping through a portal. So half of the rabbit is on this hand.
that's cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
But you could do the same thing like on your arms.
And it'll be there forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
You know what I
forever.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
noticed you have a lot of nerd tattoos. Lots of gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Even like, the writing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is it? What do your arms say?
This one says, love conquers, hate consumes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
this one says, love more, hate less. So
Nice.
it's like a combo.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like it.
Combo move.
Combo. Bam. just like the one up, baby.
And
one up.
finish them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I heard the funniest that History Hyenas podcast I listened to.
Plugging another podcast on the podcast.
Yeah, whatever.
We do it all the time.
They for National Pride Day last year, one of the guys wore a shirt of a guy sucking another guy's dick, and underneath it said "Finish him."
Oh, that's funny. I thought you were going to talk about somebody doing a joke about Mortal Kombat and Corona.
Ooh.
Because I've been doing a joke about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just as a little icebreaker, because like comedy's kind of weird now. Like a lot of places you have to wear masks inside.
Are you in
stuff.
the Sisyphus contest, by the way?
I am.
Hell yeah.
November 5th.
I'm on the same night.
On the
You're
5th?
out,
Yeah.
man. Out. Just teasing.
I thought you were-
I just so we close on the 13th. So I talked to Grant and we moved
Oh, okay. I was like,
Was yours supposed to be on the 13th?
the 12th.
I was gonna say,
There's
the
no way
last
we have to
time.
pack a truck.
I was like, I was like, wait, no, you were on a different week.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're on the same week then.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It'll be a contest.
You touch tips.
On Wednesday, I'm gonna go to Keller. You don't work Wednesday, right?
What Wednesday?
This coming Wednesday.
Oh.
Because
No.
I haven't done stand up
Yeah.
since February.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't got, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So I went to Keller. I went there a couple times now, and Matt and I were talking about the contest. I think it came out. I think it was with Matt. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Chris isn't doing stand up anymore." And I'm like, "He's in the contest though." He's like, "No, he's not. He didn't do. He didn't." Oh, I was on their podcast. That's what it was. When I was doing their
yeah.
podcast, we were talking about it because Jalen was there too, and Nathan, and we were talking about it. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I saw his name on that list. And then I pulled up the email and I was like, yeah, he's in that contest. So he might
you should
have
go
not
a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do at least one. I'm excited. Like, I've written a bunch of stuff. The opener that I used to do was that 1 beer, 12 beer joke. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure out a new way to break the crowd in. And it's still a misdirection. I'll cut it out.
It's funny, he told his dad that joke, and his dad's like, that is really well written.
I was very excited about it. But yeah, so I'm excited to do that. By the time this comes out, because we got Ollie, Paul, so 3 weeks from now.
Holy buckets.
What do you got going on in 3 weeks?
So many different things are going to change by then.
Yeah, tell people all of the things, please.
Oh, geez.
First of all, you have a podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about your podcast.
I have the podcast, The Art of Bombing, which you've been a guest on.
Very fun.
Yep. So if you're into podcasts, which if you're listening to this, you probably are. The Art of Bombing podcast is it's a podcast where I talk to performers mostly. Sometimes I throw in business people too, but we talk about failure and what we learned from it.
Okay.
And bombing on stage when I talk to performers.
And
their worst shows, and so there's a lot of great conversations, lots of different viewpoints, because I'm not I don't have to have just comics on it that have been doing it forever. I have a variety. I've had people that have just been doing comedy for less than a year to people who've been doing it for 20, 30 years, So there's a good variety of, viewpoints and stuff on it.
Have you had Beth Stelling on?
I have not. No.
We'll talk after.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'd love to have her. I mean, that's great. I know who she is, so.
Yeah. So, and then you're going to Utah?
Yeah, so by the time this comes out, that will be done. I'm going to Utah. I'm leaving Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and then the 16th, I film my Dry Bar comedy special.
Woo!
Yeah.
In Utah?
Yeah, yep, in Provo, Utah.
Oh, it's a motherland. Yeah. My brother was living in Provo for a little bit.
Chris's family is Mormon, so if you need to bring any special underpants with you, Chris has a hookup.
I do. I know a guy.
That's funny.
Yeah. Obviously, this guy is a heathen now, not...
Oh, yeah.
Of the culture.
Yeah, a lot of the people that leave the culture turn into heathens.
I think so, too.
I think that's how it's supposed to be.
I think so, yeah.
They
got to go as far the other way as they can.
Because if you become a heathen while you're part of the situation, they separate you from that situation. They're like, you're out.
Discommunicate.
You get 86.
Excommunicate.
Oh, discommunicate. Did I say discommunicate?
You did.
Whoa! I have a master's degree. I'm smart.
Also, you keep playing with your cord.
I know.
God.
I know. I have to. God.
Nervous twitch.
And then. Yeah.
And
is
then
the dry comedy the stuff you're recording? Is that is that the stuff that? And I'm not in comedy, so is that the stuff that usually plays on Sirius XM and stuff like that?
They do more video stuff, so there's a lot of.
Oh, okay, I know what you're.
So they have their own streaming platform, so you can buy. They film 25-minute specials. And then they stream on their app where people can buy them. They're maybe $1 or $2 or whatever. But what they do is they cut them up into chunks. Usually 4 to 6 minute bits or whatever, and they put them out on their social media channels. And they have huge following and huge marketing. So a lot of these clips get millions and millions and millions of views. So it's a really good for exposure and stuff. But their thing that they specialize in is clean comedy. So these are squeaky clean comedy. So it's comedy for everybody.
Yeah.
That's essentially how they're marketing. So that's what it is. And it'll be huge, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows when it'll release, but I'm filming next week, so I'm very excited.
What else you got coming up?
And then in November, I'll be in Las Vegas for the World Series of Comedy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I just got the email yesterday that I got accepted. I made it into the top 101.
Dude, congratulations.
Donations.
So where does that happen?
That's going to be in Las Vegas.
What hotel or?
Oh, the Strat.
Like, and they have a club in there, or they just have
I think
a venue in there?
yeah, they have.
Nice.
I think there's a club in there. I'm not sure how that. I just know that
you're just gonna be out on the streets walking and talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. That's how you do it. You
handing
just
out cards.
Have you not went out on the street and yelled jokes at people? That's how comedy works. You just get your little soapbox, and as people walk by, you scream your jokes out.
Yes,
I did that at Comic-Con one year.
And then Sisters Fists. I always call it Sisters Fists. Sisters.
Yeah,
I can't even say it.
So Sisyphus will be like before the World Series of Comedy. So
okay.
The 5th at Sisyphus for that contest, and then that following week, which is the 9th through the 14th, Las Vegas for the World Series.
Yeah,
All
for the 5th, get tickets because those sell out really quick because it's limited seating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it is super. The crowds are always fantastic.
Don't go if you're sick, assholes.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be that guy. I've been like, because I have this dry bar taping, I've been super paranoid.
I'm sure now, and now add in this Las Vegas thing on, I'm sure you're like, fuck, I need.
Well, the Las Vegas thing isn't as like,
no,
I mean, it's cool that I got in and you know, and I hope I get to go and everything works out. But if I was to get sick and have to miss that, not going to be as devastating
as the
dry bar.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Yeah.
You got to try and connect with Joe Coy when you're out in Vegas.
Oh yeah, is he based in Vegas now?
He has a house in Vegas.
Well, I mean, people can have houses places.
Yeah,
but he's there a lot. So he's in Vegas and then he's in LA as well.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be wanting to connect and hang out with me.
No, you don't think so?
He's not on your speed dials?
Probably not. Not. I've had some pretty famous comics in my phone, but at one time.
Chris did too at one time.
Yeah.
His phone
my
died.
phone died.
Yeah, that's what happened too with me. Yeah, it's
a
bummer.
Legit, like, movie star. David Koechner, do you know who that is?
Whammy.
Yeah, did you see Anchorman?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
And the guy in the office. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Now I know who you're talking about.
We were in cahoots, and then
phone died. That was before the cloud. That's when
and
you had like an Android, I think, or something.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I had Kevin Pollak's number.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I did some shows with him.
Oh, I'm going to have to put on a back brace for all this name dropping we're doing.
Right? Oh, God. Here we go. Look at them talking about all the people they knew.
Oh, fuck. So
I have the main person, the only important person in my phone, and that's Jesus Christ, our Savior, our Lord.
That's right. You got to have your speed dial to heaven, man. It's like, I don't have to worry about
I don't want this asshole pulling me down to hell with him. I got to go up.
Well, I mean, all the cool
fast
people.
Track to heaven.
Do you think there's an open mic scene in hell?
That's probably all hell is. You think about the worst open mic you've ever been to.
That's what.
And it's hell, and it's that times infinity.
Oh,
that's
shoot.
what hell is going to be. For us comics, that's what hell is. I guarantee you.
No one laughing.
It's going to be the worst open mic you've ever.
People talking throughout your set.
Yep.
Oh.
You can't. No, you don't even get to perform. You're just forced to watch.
The light goes on immediately, except for one guy who doesn't actually do comedy.
Oh gosh, you guys are funny. All
yeah,
right.
that's yeah. Now I'm afraid to go to hell. All right, and you're gonna have to give me.
I'll
You're gonna have to give me those digits.
I'll give you his number.
I think I just created my own hell, and I'm like, oh, now I'm afraid. I think it is time to find Jesus.
When you go to Utah, I know what you're doing. You're getting baptized. You're going to that temple. You're going to find some freaking missionaries. Yep.
It's definitely time to change my ways. If anything's going to bring me to Jesus, it's going to be a terrible open mic.
Yeah, that is so funny.
That's funny.
I wish that you had the ability to make that cut that out and make that into like a little cartoon scene where you're standing on stage in hell.
I could do it.
It's funny.
It's not going to look great, but I can do it.
Oh my God, that's funny to think about.
So, what are all the social medias, website?
Website is danbublitz.com, and it's not spelled B-O-O-B like it sounds. It's B-U-B-L-I-T-Z. My website, you can see what my upcoming shows and stuff like that. All my other social media is D Bublitz Comedy. You can get me on Instagram, Twitter, the TikTok.
Oh, that's right.
You're on the Tickety Talk.
I am on the Tickety Talk. I don't do very well. Like, I had one TikTok video that got like 80,000 views.
Hell yeah.
And then like everything else I put on there, not even close. Like,
it must be a weird algorithm how that works.
Well, it definitely is. Because I also study marketing. I'm about to get my associates in marketing.
Hell yeah.
And so, like, I've been experimenting with different things, like different lengths of the clips with subtext, without hashtags, like all that, to kind of see what works. I haven't figured it out.
Yeah. That's like our daughter has a TikTok account, and some of the videos that have a lot of views, I'm like,
yeah,
that video?
Right?
Who's watching that?
It's like that Ocean Spray skateboarder. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. I didn't see the video, but I know what you're talking about. He's been popping up. But it's crazy because like you'll see like a woman just standing there and doesn't even have to say anything, and it'll have hundreds of thousands of likes and views. And it's like,
why?
They
Freaking
didn't do anything.
That's why.
Nothing. They're just staring. It's like, I don't get it. But I also don't do, like with TikTok, a lot of people, they do like lip syncing and silly videos or whatever. I just put stand-up clips on. Yeah. That's, another comic. He kind of blew up on TikTok, and he was the one that, we had a conversation about it. Shout out to Dusty Slay. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. He's a fantastic headliner and just great comedian. But he was on my podcast, and we got to talking about TikTok, because I was like, when the pandemic started, I kept making jokes on Twitter about not joining TikTok. I was like, I haven't got so bored I joined TikTok yet, like stuff like that. And then he was on my podcast, and we were talking about it, and because he started posting just stand-up clips, and he got more following on that social media platform than any of his other platforms. Wow. And he's been on, late night TV, he's did some late night spots, and he's, so like he's out there, and he's got a pretty good following on Instagram, but not nearly as good as his TikTok, and his videos just blew up. And so we were talking about it, and he's like, this is what I've been doing. I'm just doing stand-up clips. I'm not doing, any of the other stuff and just whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, that makes sense. And then I started looking around for other comics, and quite a few comedians were kind of doing that, where they're just putting stand-up clips. So, and I don't know if that messes with the algorithm or what, but
that there's more of it now?
Yeah. Well, no, not just that there's more of it, but it's not like the same kind of, because a lot of the stuff on TikTok is trends. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people,
dance.
What's the dance? Yeah. What's the transition? The different creative ways they can do a video or whatever. There's always these trends, and that's usually what, gets the algorithm going or whatever. So I don't know how stand-up clips fit into that at all, and whether it does or not,
Okay.
So like now, like with Dusty, because he's got probably a huge following on TikTok, like he can post a video and he's probably going to get tons of views on that video right away because
he
of that.
has the following.
Yeah. So like I have that one video that did really well, but it didn't really build me a following.
Oh.
Like I have like 500 followers on TikTok, and and it fluctuates.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, like
my daughter got to 99 and then 101. And she was so excited, and then went back down to 98, and she like cried.
Oh no!
I'm like,
I was like, I like watch it, but I'm like, I lose people, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm not consistent, because that's overall when it comes to like marketing and social media marketing, consistency is key, and you have to keep up on it. And I'm one of these people where I'm like, I'm just too lazy.
I know what will get you a big following. We'll get Layla in here and you guys can do the renegade dance together and then post it on your TikTok. Boom, 1,000 more followers.
Maybe, but I don't know that it'll be the right followers.
That's true. You don't want them followers.
Yeah.
That's
it's like, are you trying to get me arrested? Is this a trap? Is Chris going to be popping?
See why all these cameras are here?
Is the other Chris going to be popping out of a closet or something? What's going on here?
He's actually in one of these sound panels.
He's just going to pop out of the sound panel.
There's a hole behind that.
I believe it.
Pop out.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia and Chris Hansen.
Oh. Well, good news is that when that happens, I'll be able to get out of here.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll be focused on. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, the last thing that we do, our listeners are called ducklings. So we say, au revoir, little ducklings, quack, quack.
Au revoir, little ducklings, quack, quack.
Then you
Words. What was that?
Words, quack, quack.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yeah.
That's goodbye.
Au revoir.
How do you say goodbye in Ukrainian?
Good question.
Duck, duck.
Good job.